Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast Channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
I am calling the Wednesday, January 7th meeting of the Sustainability Advisory Committee to order here in lovely, icy Exeter. And my name is Denise Short, and I am the chair of the committee, and I'm going to introduce you to the other members and people here. We have Sarah Koff, who is an alternate. Yes. Ryan Jean. Kristen Murphy is the town sustainability planner. And Dan Chartrand is the representative from the select board. Carol Olmsted is our new member, our new alternate. Thank you so much for joining. And Jim Breeling and Julie Gaunt, and Chris Zigmont. And I was just going to say Julie is our clerk as well. And thank you. I appreciate that task. So here we are. So our first item on the agenda is a welcome and introduction of our new member. And would you like to say anything about what brought you to want to participate in this group?
My passion for sustainability.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And I've had, the last 20 years, I've worked for private industry. So various leadership roles, but one of them that was always near and dear to my heart was my responsibility for environmental health and safety as well as sustainability. So I've done that in the private sector with large companies. So I'm happy to bring whatever I can to the committee and happy to be here.
Thank you. It's wonderful to have you, and I look forward to learning from you as we continue to work together. Public comments, and we're sitting in a new configuration, if anybody notices, so I'm not looking at a laptop, but I can see up on the screen that I don't think anybody is public commenting. All right, maybe next month, we'll see. Next is the approval of the minutes. Our last meeting was on December 3rd, and you received a copy of the minutes from Kristen. So I ask for a motion to approve the minutes from December 3rd.
I motion.
Any discussion? Does anyone have any corrections, revisions, additions?
You want a second? You need someone to second.
Oh, I need a second.
I'll second.
All right, now we have discussion. It was a long meeting. We covered a lot, and I did not have any revisions, and hearing none else. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Unanimous? All right.
I'll abstain because I wasn't there and I didn't read the minutes, so.
Oh, there you go. So you abstain. And anybody else was, Ryan, did you read the minutes?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, cool. All right. That brings us all the way to item number 5, which is a discussion of interest in expansion of alternate positions. So, we've heard that there are more people interested in joining the committee, and so we had been thinking about, is there a way to add more people? And I think that requires an official process. So I just wanted to put it on the
Can I
agenda.
ask a question?
Yeah.
So where are we right now in terms of,
Full board,
so we have all the member positions filled and all the alternate positions?
Correct.
5 and 2?
5 and 2.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Is it? Wait.
Is it 4
But-
and 2? No, it has to be odd.
No, because Nina and Chetna are not here.
Should be 7.
So that's
7 and 2,
7 and 2.
that makes sense.
That's a lot. Yeah. Is it?
I don't know.
I know that you had said that you thought you knew some people who were interested.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, does anyone have any particular opinions about that? Or I didn't want, I guess it came out because knowing that there were people who were interested, Carol, you're an example, people are interested in joining, and then hearing about a couple other people, I didn't want anybody who was interested to not be able to participate. But maybe there's nothing in particular to do about that. I don't.
So the only way that the board could be expanded would be through approval from the select board.
Yeah.
There is potential to create, subcommittees, like if there's certain interest groups that others, certain areas of interest that others are really keen to participate in, you could create a subcommittee. And as long as you have representation from this board on that subcommittee, that's another way that you could sort of expand participation without going through the process of, amending the committee
Yeah.
makeup.
So the alternate, the number of alternates is set by the board and by routine practice. There's no other committees that have expanded their alternates without board approval.
This committee, correct me if I'm wrong, you were there at the inception.
Yeah.
This committee was created by a vote of the town, correct?
Right.
So it might need to be on the warrant.
Might actually need to be on the warrant.
Yeah, because the voters actually
Created it, yeah.
this committee.
Approved it.
Was the structure part of the
Now you're taxing my memory, but it could have been. I think it may have, just the way the language was, it may have specified what that was, yeah.
So that's something to look into.
Yeah.
Before we go further with this, is like, what would we need to do? It's probably something that our interim town manager, Melissa, could run by legal to make sure we get it exactly right. I have no problem with adding more positions as long as we do it the correct way, whatever that may be.
But I also think we should if there's more interest, I think that it'd be interesting how to accommodate that now. I just think frequently we're shorthanded in doing things. And it's an ambitious field.
Yeah.
Multifaceted field. I think we already have some subcommittees, but most of the people on subcommittees are board members or alternates. So there's no subcommittee that has
Other people.
non-alternate people on it. We can ask if the people that you identify as potential candidates would be interested in a subcommittee, and then they could be put on with no problem. And if there's an interest that we don't have the person power to staff, and somebody has an interest, we create a new subcommittee. I mean, how many subcommittees do we have? We have the...
Well, that's an agenda item
Yeah.
because I was getting a little confused about that. So, I think that's a creative solution.
Yeah, I hate to turn people away,
Yeah.
especially if there's, citizen interest.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm just thinking because you said you knew a couple people who were interested.
Yeah. I actually, my brain is working. The two people who expressed interest in joining now are both business owners and could potentially be very interested in joining this the certification program, like if that's a subcommittee, they'd be awesome at that. So I don't know if that'd be appealing to them, but we could certainly try.
Yeah, that sounds great,
Yeah,
because then they could get involved and,
yeah, and then maybe that could lead to joining the committee.
yeah.
Yeah, it could be a pipeline.
And the only thing I think about with this, and I'm a perfect example where, life the past 10 months has really been weird as I've not been
Yeah.
able to attend. So I, on one hand, understand the appeal and also citizen involvement and interest. The one thing we just have to figure out how to manage is the critical mass of consistency that has to, if you have enough alternates, you may find yourself in a situation where you've got a bunch of people at the table that weren't participating in a couple of prior or many prior meetings, and not enough critical mass from the people that were there to even address agenda items. So I don't know how we manage that that consistency, other than maybe some requirement of a balance of alternate and committee members or something like that, so there's always a critical core there, regardless of who they are.
Well, I think people who aren't members of the committee, who are, of the actual committee, who are on a subcommittee, would be, I think, welcome to come to meetings, but they would be considered members of the public.
Right, okay.
And wouldn't vote.
No, I think
and
maybe I was
wouldn't-
addressing if we did find out a way through, once we learn whether we can or can't with or without.
Expand.
With
Yeah.
either a vote or the board, select board or whatever, if that were a case. That's the only thing I would want to keep in mind, but you're
Okay.
correct, yeah.
Yeah.
Subcommittees would be a great way to at least tease out people's interest and get them involved for sure, so.
Right,
I like that intermediate step.
yeah.
That's a good idea. And then we can, longer term, look at that structure. Your point is very good. You want to have some continuity
Yeah.
in terms of considering things, and, agenda items carry over from meeting to meeting, so
Yeah.
you do need enough ballast in the committee so the ship doesn't flip over.
Right.
I'll be honest, I hadn't really thought about that you could have people who weren't on the actual committee on subcommittees.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea. All right. The next item is the possible addition of a student member, and that would be a non-voting member, but to get a different expanded perspective. And Kristen brought that up because I believe the Energy Committee has one or two students. And I think that would be great.
And there was a student from Phillips Exeter who was interested in participating and inquired specifically about whether sustainability had student positions.
So how would we
I
bring
think that
him
would
in?
be I suspect that would be similar. We need to look into how the committee was formed. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the subcommittee idea may be a great short-term
Yeah,
way to tap into student
Okay.
desire to be involved.
so I could get in contact with this person who was interested, this student, and then figure out if there's a particular area of interest, and then he or she could be on a subcommittee.
And are welcome, just like others, to
Yeah.
attend the meetings as a member of the public.
Okay.
And given this format, I think, it really blurs the lines between, in a good way.
Yeah.
Between like who's on the committee, and it's just people around the table working on the issues, so.
Right.
I like this format that you've created here.
Right. And as Jim said, it's a wide field. Opportunity for action and,
Right, I mean, I'm looking at the work plan and calendar that Kristen created, and, there's almost 24 things on that list, some of which we've picked up and most of which we have not, and that's because we don't have the bandwidth. You know, you run 2 or 3 of the work efforts, and that's it. And you know, if we want to push all the balls uphill at the same time, it requires more people.
Yep.
Kristen, I have to applaud you for that recommendation. I think that really brings in fresh ideas from the student population and what their key care abouts are. Yeah, so I think it's a great idea.
I know it's been great with the Energy Committee, having the perspective of the students. We've partnered on projects together, so.
Have they been on there a while?
Yeah, we're on our second set of students, I believe.
Huh?
The prior set not retired.
Retired.
Sorry, graduated.
Been there a long time.
Right. Yeah. So.
Are they from Exeter
Right.
High School?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Next, item 7 is the composting survey results, which.
So I can pull them up if you want to see. So at the last meeting, we went over a list of compost survey questions. We posted that on the town's website and promoted it through social media. And we have a list of, it's still open, but I can give an update of the responses so far if you
Sure.
want. Bring my. So I actually need glasses though. We've had 35 people respond to the survey, and I'll just step through some of the questions. It was interesting to me. So the majority of the responders do use the town curbside services, and a very small portion does not have access to it. So to me, that's like a really good potential for, you know, leveraging additional opportunities for composting. This question is, how many trash bags a week? Pretty much 1 or less. People submitted a lot of other responses, so that's that's why this looks crazy. But it's, you know, I use 1 every 3 weeks, and so pretty much 1 or less is what the majority of homes of those who responded use. And it's a pretty close to even split of composting, whether people compost or don't compost, which I was surprised about. It's a lot more composters than I expected. Still some room to grow that number. Of those who compost, a large percentage, 50%, compost at the transfer station. But that still means there's 40% of people that we can still encourage to use that transfer station to increase the amount of compost that we're diverting. This is for those who do compost. Do you compost in your yard and why? And a lot of that is it's convenient, easy to get to. They want to support the concept of compost and want to divert, and it's free.
Yeah.
And convenient. How is it managed? I loved this question because there was one responder who said 24 years ago the town provided compost bins and they're still using that bin today, which is really cool.
We need to go interview them.
Yeah. So a lot of folks do just have like a container that they're composting in versus like a bin and a pile. No one shares with their neighbor. I'm not sure why this split like that, but. This is how satisfied are you with the free composting service at the transfer station? And 8 of them responded, so 72% are very satisfied. I think that really speaks volumes to the satisfaction that people have with that service. And if you want me to stop at any of these and talk further, I'm happy to do that. So storage is a huge issue for people who are trying to compost. And we saw that when we surveyed the people we gave the bins out to. People didn't know what to do with it in between, the times that they could get it to the dumps. A lot of them, to the transfer station, a lot of them put it in their freezer. And so the storage is really kind of a big issue. But to me, that's manageable, like we need to find the right the right type of bin to encourage this use, or something that works for more folks. And there's also a huge percentage, 33%, weren't even aware that we offer free composting. I was shocked by that number. And then transportation is a barrier, time is a barrier, and the special trip to the dump. So accessing the transfer station is a little bit of a challenge. Some other challenges that were identified is it's tough to get to the transfer station, the hours are limiting, having it so far on the other end of town, some recommended we have multiple drop-off locations. And I can provide these in something that you can sit and read later, but I just thought I'd do kind of a high level. What would make you more likely to compost? This whole survey kind of came about when we were thinking of having an event to educate people. 25% would like to learn more about composting and how to do it effectively. A centralized drop-off site in town is desired. The educational workshop and the drop-off location. I don't know what the note above is. If I were provided a composting bin and pickup. Yeah.
And a private chef.
Right. And then we knew we would have a lot of people recommend the, alternate centralized location just from the early survey we did with the other composters. And so we asked, what would you consider centralized? There were 7 responses. Somewhere near downtown, Newfields Road or east of Portsmouth Ave, Exeter downtown, near downtown, somewhere on Portsmouth Ave, I don't know or town building locations. And then I think there's just a couple more. Let's see. Questions about composting, we can use that to inform the educational program. What would you change? A lot of people want, no surprise here, curbside composting. People really want it to be right at their house, which is great and convenient, but expensive, right? And a second drop-off site. I would think those really are the key. The other thing that was suggested was the transfer station shifting, being open longer hours or open more days. That's a pretty heavy lift, but something we can at least talk about. And then for business owners, the majority of responders were not business owners. There were 2 that were, and it's split whether they manage their trash. None of them compost. And let's see, it's difficulty and they hadn't thought about it. And would they be willing if it was easier? Yes. Would you partner with another business to co-manage composting? One says no and one says yes. All of these are single family homes that they own. And that's it. So I feel like we got a lot of insight from a pretty quick, easy to put together survey. And like I said, I'm happy to share the specific results so you can read all of the responses, but just to get a sense of where we're at. And so I guess the question is, where do we go from here? Right?
The idea of having a second location, is that possible? I mean, what are the barriers to that?
Yeah, I mean, I did talk with Steve Cronin about like another diversion station, kind of, for styrofoam and compost and Helpsy, and he obviously composting is challenging, right? So you have critters that can get into compost bins, and neighbors may not like people dropping their food off there. It's another location that town staff would have to go and collect the bins for. So it did not seem like it was really that desirable.
Not even at the transfer station.
Well, it is at the
not the transfer station. I always get them confused. The DPW.
Yeah, I don't know.
Works.
I don't know.
Just because that already belongs to the town.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of well, critters, yeah.
And so the beauty of the transfer station is you have someone there kind of watching over things. And so, when the bins get full or are overflowing, there's someone
Yeah.
there to sort of manage that. But our DPW crews are straight out. I mean,
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Yep.
so I think it's a challenge.
As one of those town composters, I'm also flummoxed by the limited hours. And while dropping off my compost this past week, I thought, wouldn't it be cool if there were just a clear space outside the gate for the rest of the other days of empty compost bins that you could drive by and put it in the compost bin on the days that they're closed? No one's going to steal stinky compost. I think they'd be pretty safe.
Yeah.
And, or 3 or 4 of the days in the middle of the week when they're closed. If you miss it on Tuesday, you got to wait till Friday, and
Yep.
it depends when you're. So I just thought if they could swing a couple of those bins outside the gate and post it, then those other days people could go by and put their compost in. And I think that's one of those things where it doesn't require extra man hours, doesn't require another location. All it requires is the commitment to put them outside the gate.
Yep. I think if there are questions like this, it probably would be best to put it together in a memo that goes to DPW and just says, this is what we're wondering about. What's the feasibility of this, that, or the other? Even having the bins outside of the gate, I just envision what if they get knocked over, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's worth trying to work out a solution.
All right.
There clearly is a desire for that.
So an action item would be to take the results that you just shared with us, and out of that, come up with a list of possible solutions, and then look at what would require DPW's assistance, and then what is something that we could do or we could come up with. So that seems like a subcommittee, a composting subcommittee. Does anybody on this board committee want to take the lead on that, and then maybe getting people who are not on the committee involved? Or it could be more than one person.
I'm happy to continue working on this.
Yeah.
I've reached out to, what was the town? Bedford? No, it wasn't. It was a town in New Hampshire that has a centralized drop-off that nobody mans, I think. And I've reached out to them and haven't heard back. But I feel like more research needs to be done on this. I don't want to just give up on it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
there has to be a model out there. There has to be some creative, and I'm not ready to give up on it yet. So I would like to work on this more.
I'd be happy to work with Sarah on that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very interested in this. The current system has limited hours, so it doesn't necessarily work for people that are trying to participate. It's also kind of circumventing our sticker system at the transfer station, which can create some issues as well. So the idea of it somehow being there but apart from the operation, that appeals to me. I don't know how that would be managed, but it might solve a couple of issues. The issue of how accessible it is in terms of hours, and also the ways in which the composters, because it's free, they don't have to get a sticker to enter our transfer station, which all other town citizens have to do. So there's something there. We just have to figure out where the sweet spot is. And I'd love to work on that with you, sir.
Cool.
So the gatekeeper of that is you drive up to the transfer station and you say, I only have compost, and the guy lets you through.
Yep.
Yeah. But some people abuse that. Some
Yeah.
people get in and then they also drop off other stuff besides compost.
Those people.
It's incredible to me because it's a $20 sticker.
Right.
That's how some people roll, so.
So maybe there's a trade-off, like people need bin the size to store their weekly food waste. It's sealable, it costs a certain amount of money. You buy it from the town at a cheap discount, and you get a dump sticker for $10 a year rather than 20, or something like that. You know, I
Or
don't know.
build
you know.
the dump sticker cost into the cost of the package, and then just
Right.
that way the town gets their $20 and you get a sticker and you participate in compost.
Right.
Yeah.
You get
So-
a container and a sticker?
Yeah.
I love that.
So you buy
Wow.
blue bags, you buy compost, contractor bags, you buy large item stickers. You can buy recycling bins, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what those cost. There's a small bin and a large bin.
Yeah,
And maybe to that array of things you can buy from the town, you look at what's a week's worth of vegetable storage with a locked top, and offer that, and maybe get a volume discount or something like that. I don't know. It's just, but this,
That's creative, I like that.
What about biodegradable bags?
that you instead of
Instead
the
of a
container.
bin, or in it, or
In
instead
addition
of,
to.
because of the people who
I
use
use
the
both.
freezer.
I do
Yeah.
both
You use it?
also.
I've
Yeah.
never
I have
used one of those.
I bought this all at RJ's, right?
Uh-huh.
I bought a sealable, it's
Metal container, plastic container.
plastic.
Yep.
And it takes more than a week, but I tend to drop it off every week. I'm going out there anyway for my business, and I use compostable winder bags just to make it,
Yeah.
the transfer of it into the
Easier.
Mr. Fox
Yeah,
bucket easier.
They're made of starch, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I do find
Hey.
that compost on the way, yeah, so,
Oh,
Oh, yeah, in the summer.
Yeah,
But, you know.
better than the
Those
alternative, yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
So that's exactly how I do it.
I guess two things, one question on the survey, coming back to that for a moment, when does it close?
that's the board's discretion, or the committee's discretion, you know?
I was going to ask the same question.
Because I feel like, I think we could, right now it's interesting anecdotally, but it's not statistically robust. I'd love to see us just drive a little bit more. I found out about it tonight, and I'm somewhat plugged into
Yeah.
the town, so I took it while you were presenting. But
39.
yeah, there you
Or
go.
whatever.
So I'd love to see us drive a little bit more, Exeter TV, a couple more social pushes, things like that, and just, and even if we can incentivize it, if we can give something away, give away a compost bin to one lucky winner or one lucky recipient.
Compost bin and a sticker.
And yeah.
26.
There you go.
One way to boost social media input into the survey is to create a short post with the interim results, or at least
For sure.
key points from the interim results. That you say, this is what we've learned so far, we're still interested in, and I think you're the content manager for that, right, Kristen? Or do you need any help abstracting key points from your
Sure.
PowerPoint? And
I'd be happy to add you, so you
Okay.
could see the back end, is that what you mean, or?
yeah.
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 That would be great, Jim.
Being new, excuse me, to the community, are you surprised at the limited responses from businesses to your survey? Because you got 2, is that correct?
I don't know. We've not really run this before, so I don't know.
It was posted on the town's sustainability Facebook page.
Yeah, it was on the Facebook page. I think they did a
newsletter.
bi-weekly,
It was in the
Newsletter.
biweekly.
in the
There was a
bi-weekly.
Earth to
newsletter.
Exeter
On
Minute, I
Exeter
think.
TV.
Yep. And then there's a flyer downstairs and,
Well, but businesses in town, maybe many people don't live in Exeter. Is that true? Or, I don't know. Like, is there a way to target businesses more?
Reason my business didn't respond is that we've just been through our busiest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're
Good point.
We're still in recovery.
And
Yeah.
probably true for a lot of your
Yeah.
colleagues, your peers, for sure.
It's a
Yeah.
busy
Yeah.
Downtown is
time.
busy. It's just- So that may explain that.
I'm just curious.
Did we ever ask the Chamber of Commerce to to distribute something from us to their members, or is that not considered appropriate?
There was something we promoted through the chamber. They allowed like one free posting a year, and I think it was the Alewife Festival. We also reached out to the chamber to vet some of the,
Haven't heard anything
Yeah.
Oh,
from
yeah.
them. I was gonna ask if anyone had a contact because crickets.
yeah.
Maybe we could talk.
I've walked in there. I've walked in there and just talked to
Oh. I guess I should
whoever,
just do
I
that.
can't remember her name.
Oh.
We'll approach them. You don't have to go.
But
But
I
That's on
do
the
think,
certification stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah, but we can also ask them for help driving responses.
yeah, that'd be great.
but I do think we should think about like what the goal for that is, right? Like is our goal to target, most of our solutions are, I'm not sure that we could provide solutions for a business to compost, right? Like most of our solutions that I envision anyway are smaller scale.
Yeah.
So, I don't
More
know.
aimed at households.
Right, yeah.
So that could
That's
be
what I was just
really-
wondering, so you were just, because I noticed it was to businesses too responded, so I
Right.
didn't know if you were looking for that or not. But if you just want to limit it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
To start with, to just households versus businesses.
I don't think it was intentional to limit
Got
it
it.
or to promote
Yeah.
it. I think it was just like, let's see.
It's a starting point.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have a goal of reaching a certain amount of people, and once that amount of people have answered 100, I don't know.
Yeah.
What do we have, 35?
What's our residential population now, or household, do we know a household count in Exeter?
What, 5,000? I think it's around 5.
5,000 households?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm doing that from the top of my head. If I'm wrong, forgive me.
I mean, I haven't taken it, and so there you go.
Well, no, and I think
Yeah.
one truth that we all have to get comfortable with is, when you're really close to something, you feel like your communication is getting everywhere. But, take one step back and believe me, I know this for 30 years in commercial communication, you'd be surprised how few people have seen your communication. It's, busy lives lead to just distraction. And so especially communication from a town, when your feed is full of so many other, well-promoted, well-spent things, it's, you guys get dealt out of the algorithm pretty quickly. So, and that just encourages us all to just push a little harder and loop in some more friends and share it, person to person, even if you have to. I did notice that a QR code, which is great. So it's easy to share and easy to promote. So, I'm not surprised by the number. And also, too, same thing for people with the holidays, too. The timing was a busy time. So now is a really great time. Early January is a great time to capitalize. So.
Okay, so that's homework for every single one of us. To if you haven't taken the survey, take it, and also reach out to your own network and
Kristen,
promote it.
Could you print out some more of those flyers and we could put them around town?
Sure.
On rice paper.
Rice paper, yes.
So Sarah, are you now the head of this new subcommittee work effort?
Which one?
Yeah,
Composting.
composting.
I guess I'm welcome
Okay,
anyone else.
And Dan and you'll work with Dan and Chris. I'll help out too. So maybe we should have a meeting. Is it possible then to have subcommittees that have meetings outside of
Yes.
this forum? We can have it in me and Ollie's and
Yeah.
drink
Yeah,
coffee.
they don't need to be public.
Yeah.
Just if you want to
Okay.
use a subcommittee.
So let me know.
Awesome.
And I think maybe a future goal when you talk about businesses is it'd be really interesting to find out about the composting habits of all the restaurants in town.
Generally,
mean-
the food waste, yeah.
I can't imagine, well, maybe that's naive that they don't compost because that would be such a large part of their waste, but who knows?
Most of the businesses might have a non-waste management contract vehicle to handle their waste, right? We don't know. Yeah, because the thing that impacts the town is the waste management contract. So if you're a business that's getting their trash taken somewhere with a different
Yeah.
contract, I mean, it's important
It's important
But-
for the
but
environment.
not-
Yeah,
to the town's budget.
yeah.
I know the single largest food service operation in town does compost, that would be the Academy.
Yeah, right,
I assume that's the one.
right, yeah.
Given the population.
Yeah, I'd have to, by a long shot, I would have to.
3 meals a day.
How can you learn about
Do you know how
this?
they compost? Do you know how they compost?
Mr. Fox,
They
they've
do.
got bins, yeah.
That's what I see outside of there.
In fact, it's so big, Mrs. Fox had to get.
I was going to say, it's an entire family by now.
Well, it's interesting because one of the work stream things that we put down there was to get more data from Mr. Fox.
Yeah, Mr. Fox was very hesitant to
It's
release
proprietary.
data. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we attempted that.
So if we organize a composting effort townwide, it's in competition with Mr. Fox.
Oh.
I think that their concern was that somehow this would morph, into competition. But they also were willing to talk, we met with someone who works with Mr. Fox about how to design a pilot curbside composting program. And so I think they're willing to partner. It's just we were looking at how many people in Exeter pay for private service and, roughly what parts of town and things like that to try to see
Yeah.
could we use that in some
That's
way
what they
to.
got, hasn't it?
Yeah. And so they didn't really want to share
But they
details.
might be open to say, we would like to compost more. We set a target of 250 households, or if there's 5,000 households, let's say 500 households, 10% of the households in Exeter will be new composting, and we will offer them a package of things that the town would do, and the option of contracting with Mr. Fox, and maybe at a discount, because they could get 100 new customers.
Yeah, even
What
just
would that
clarity in the
mean to them?
communication, making it evident that anybody who either gets this communication, like, yeah, just so you know, if you weren't aware, there is fee-for-service curbside available, if that's interesting.
Yeah.
We just want to get people composting no matter how they do it, right?
Right.
So,
Right. And it's nice that on your website for us, there is a whole thing, obviously keep it out of the landfill, that's your graphic, and then there's another thing, I don't know if you designed it, as the composting with Mr. Fox.
I'd have to see it. But
Yeah. It's,
either that or pulled from DPW.
Yeah.
Tricia and I both have
yeah, it's got
what they accept.
Yeah, Mr. Fox,
Yeah.
and a web link to
Yep.
Mr. Fox, and a web link to a Biodegradable Products Institute. So, somebody's put a lot of good content under the Sustainability Committee on that. Probably you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was me. I don't know if I designed that flyer, but I did build the content under your webpage.
Yeah.
All right, does that end the composting discussion for the moment? Next is the Sustainable Partner Program. And I looped Sustainable Partner Program and Earth to Exeter minutes. Just thinking, and it kind of fits with item 9, review of subcommittees. Because I'm feeling like I want to get more clarity on, Jim, you mentioned the list of things that we would like to do, and trying to make sure that we're focusing on things that actually have interest and energy and champions for the particular effort. So I think the Sustainable Partner Program is a good example, because that was an idea, and you guys have really moved forward with that.
So you should describe it for Carol.
Oh, yes.
What is, in a nutshell?
Oh, okay. I can. There's a few of us who've been working on it, but yeah, we decided to start a program that would allow businesses within Exeter to become certified as a sustainable business. Exeter Sustainable Exeter. And it's sort of like LEED, where there's different levels.
Right.
And a checklist where they can, and we tried to make it really broad to allow for as many different, types of businesses as possible. So that they could like check off what they've done, and if they've reached a certain level, then they reach a certain certification level. So we haven't launched it yet, but we've thought it all out. We've brought it to business owners for feedback and gotten great feedback. And really the next step is to talk to the chamber, which we'd really like to do soon, and then launch it, right?
Create the form for them to submit their checklist.
Right. Yeah, we still.
But we did order the stickers, and we followed the committee recommendation on the stickers, so.
Did you
yeah.
get plastic-free or?
Yeah, they're.
PVC free.
PVC free is
Yep.
what, yeah.
Nice.
That's exciting.
So where was it going with that? So there's the Sustainable Partner Program Subcommittee. We just talked about the composting subcommittee. And there's also a solid waste subcommittee, which I know is you and Chetna.
Yeah.
And was somebody else on that?
There was somebody else, I don't remember.
Nina? Maybe?
Maybe Nina.
I think it might have been Nina.
Yeah. So I guess, how do we work? I'm not being very articulate here, but I'm trying to think about, we have these meetings and we talk about things and we plan and we get excited and we have ideas. But then what happens between the meeting and the next meeting, and how to make the most of the energy and enthusiasm we have. And maybe I just wanted to think about that now at the start of the year. And, we have a new member and we might have student members and subcommittees.
One simple thing you could do is alter the structure of this meeting so that the subcommittees report out at our monthly meeting. And that way,
Yeah.
there's a slight amount of pressure
Yeah.
to get stuff done so you can report out to the larger
That does
Sustainability Advisory.
seem pretty simple and like a good idea.
I think the other thing too is keeping the agenda, task list for each of the subcommittees attainable and trackable, and set up in a way that there are ways to make monthly progress on it that is reportable and trackable. I think sometimes they're just too big a swing to their job level stuff, and most folks are otherwise busy as well. So making those objectives attainable, we'll work our way through it all the way, but we got to start the journey with some smaller steps. So
Right.
Kind of like that SMART process.
yeah.
The other thing is, if a subcommittee has been in operation for a long time and members rotate out and we no longer certain who's on a subcommittee,
Yeah.
is the main committee should have the power to say, you're done.
Yep.
We're
Absolutely.
going to start another work stream with some other people and another defined mission and deliverable
Yeah.
instead.
Makes sense.
So we can retire, the main committee, we can retire subcommittees. Not maybe to celebrate,
Yeah.
huge success.
Yeah.
Or to revitalize and redirect.
That's great. Makes sense.
And
So-
the solid waste committee, I haven't heard from them in a long time, and I don't know if that's because they're not on the agenda or because
Yeah.
nothing new has happened.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Yeah.
so
Go
the
ahead.
committee, the purpose of that committee was to kind of prepare for the expiration of our contract with Waste Management. And so we have more as a broader committee, pulled up some of those tasks. Like we toured waste management and got, a sense of what that facility was like. And have been, I guess, talking in the meetings about the cost for recycling is double the cost to throw something out, and things like that. So maybe some of those functions happened at the meeting instead.
At the principal meeting.
Yeah, but to Chris's point, that's a big nut. And so what is the action there? It's tough to.
Yeah, what's the desired outcome? What does the end look like? What says we're done? And in my mind, when we last met, was to really just find ourselves with a list of recommendations, both on, and it's funny, the more we learned about it, the more things we learned about it, and the more challenges we discovered. And so it is a bit of a spiral. So yeah, I think kind of a bit of a reset for that subcommittee, or all of them, is a good idea. But I think the upside to the solid waste committee, if it's pulling on some new members or refitting that group, is there's still time and work to be done to come up with some thinking. So,
can you remind us on the timeline for the new waste management contract?
2027.
So we have a year and a half. No, we have less than a year.
Yeah.
Okay. And the negotiation for that contract is done by the Department of Public Works.
Right. And they have met with Waste Management and expressed a desire for increased data, for example, because that's part of the challenge is we're making some changes and we're really not getting the metrics that we need to document those changes.
And the other thing that I think we learned is that they were able to substantially increase our contract costs in mid-contract.
Yeah, exactly.
And we didn't understand how that was in the contract. Am I characterizing that correctly, or?
The committee didn't understand?
The town. Or the town.
I think you meant the town.
Yeah. Is that correct, Carrie?
No, I'm pretty sure they were aware that could happen. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's some high-level things, and you can just reflecting back on the charge here and making recommendations to the select board in the town for things to do. And I think that level one of that whole subcommittee is is the current vendor and system working for us? Is it serving our town's needs? And when we just come off a composting discussion and how it's got growth and we want to see more of that puts a little asterisk there next to me that maybe not. We've been around the barn quite a bit on the cost of recycling, and we still can't prove that most of that doesn't go in the same hole that the garbage does for twice the price. Right. So an asterisk to me goes there, is this serving? Then you start running into we ran down the list, so okay, what are all the alternatives, right? Who else can we hire? Is privatization the best plan? There are towns around us that handle it themselves. What does getting back to that mode look like? And what, putting that out there, what would our citizens think about putting that on a warrant, and what would that cost? Right. But I think that's where we started running out of gas, is like really putting a proper study together to.
And the downside of that.
And the downside.
That we currently don't have a fully fit out Department of Public Works. And now we're talking about having another department in an environment where we're having trouble finding people to work for.
Right.
So
yeah,
that caution is there.
For sure.
In terms of taking it on ourselves.
Yep.
I think there's a kind of two-stage thing. There's probably a minimal amount of input that this committee can have, given the short time frame for the renewal of the contract. And we should, by all means, avail ourselves of whatever we can do to inform. And, DPW was with us on that tour, so we served a vital purpose there by organizing that. They weren't going to do that on their own, probably. So we've already met one goal. We've got some more information, albeit, a little vague and amorphous. But we should have a longer-term goal as a committee of what is this town going to do when that landfill closes?
Yep, sure.
That's the bigger game. And it's longer term But there will come a time when our costs will spiral because that landfill is no longer available in Rochester, which is so close to us. I've said to some folks, what happens if that, what happens when that happens? It's like, well, you might truck it to Western Pennsylvania or Western New York. Well, you
Yeah.
want to see your costs go up, that'll do it.
Yeah.
So how do we begin to think about what our waste management looks like in the mid-2030s?
That makes
That's,
sense.
that's the bigger game. I
Sure.
think, and the more important game.
Because you're going to have population growth here too.
Oh, yeah. They're
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah,
They're coming.
yeah.
Yeah. So I guess my question to the subcommittee then would be, do you have 1, 3, or 5 short-term recommendations that, to bring to this committee, that we could then tell the people at Public Works, this is what we recommend, these are deficiencies, short-term deficiencies, actionable deficiencies, that we can recommend on the basis of our study for your contract negotiation? And then you can say your work is done, and then we then decide what's the next focus. How do we plan for 2030?
2030s, somewhere in the 2030s.
Yeah.
Because what I heard you say is a lot of very large questions that are going to be difficult to answer. And I think what we need to do is find a smaller question, something that's easier to answer, as the next phase of a solid waste subcommittee.
Yeah.
Can I pick up on that?
Yeah.
I also love the approach that Kristen has kind of gently piloted us towards, of having pilot projects like
Styrofoam.
composting, These small bore solutions are garnering information for us on how we might expand something down the line when we're closer to that deadline in the mid-2030s. So I love experimenting. I love doing small bore stuff. And I think that's within the capacity of this committee to really put those things in place. I see you doing that. And I see you doing it very intentionally. It's not an accident. I know it's not. Pretty much everything you do with a high level of intention. So if we as a committee and as subcommittees of this committee can really start to kind of make that our MO, our modus operandi of like, what are some small bore experiments that we can put on the board that will give us more information about how we might do this in a larger way in 5 to 10 years.
Great. The one really disconcerting thing was the discussion that was recently on the Exeter Town Forum about costs of the blue bags and the dump stickers, and how the town is making money off of trash. And there's no response. I think officially you're unable to make a response. I felt the need to unofficially respond, but didn't feel like I had the agency to. If we have a large education gap in the town between now and 2030 about what, we're not making money, you're losing money, and all the things you think are very expensive are barely scratching the surface of the true cost, and it's going to get worse. And because there's going to be I assume, a vote at some point about, there'll be warrant articles, and there'll be discussion at town meeting about the size of the waste management contract. And
it's packed into the larger budget, so someone could zero in on it as part of the larger budget.
I mean, somebody's going to say, I make a motion, we cut the waste management contract by 20%.
It could. Probably wouldn't fly.
It wouldn't fly, but, you can see that coming.
It is between 4 and 5% of our municipal
Yeah.
budget for town operations.
But, I think in the short year I've been on this committee, I've been
Yeah.
amazed how much I learned about solid waste.
Well,
For sure.
And I think this committee is perfectly poised to be that spotlight, that
Yeah.
it is tucked into town costs. Not everyone is aware of
And
that.
town's not making money.
And hearing, for me, the thing that was jaw-dropping was that recycling, it costs double to recycle a product that may or may not make it there, than to landfill it. And, I support recycling, but we need to think about
well, and how
what
you,
that is costing the community.
Do you need any more members on that subcommittee on solid waste?
what do you,
So first, Chetna is the chair of that subcommittee. She's not here, so we definitely want to make sure she's looped in that conversation. Second, for the life of me, I can't remember, but I am so confident there is a rule about the size of subcommittees. I'm sure there is, isn't
You
there?
don't want to hit quorum.
Yeah.
Okay, so as long as it doesn't become an actual
Four,
other committee.
right.
Okay, all right. So that's, I think, the barrier we have to just manage is not to exceed that. And I think solid waste right now is just Chetna and I, is that right?
I thought so. I didn't
Yeah.
remember another person, but
I don't
if
think
there isn't, I
it-
apologize.
I don't think there is another person. And I think what you were just saying about that, and you too, about we are the perfect group of people to get on that education component of really what solid waste is in the town and what it costs the town. Because somebody could hear that about recycling costs twice as much as dump and be like, okay, we don't need to be recycling anymore.
Curbside.
Curbside.
Yeah, having Waste Management pick up our
Right.
recycling at curbside.
Yeah.
There are other ways to
Single
handle
stream.
that.
Well-
Long-term, not short-term. We can't turn that around tomorrow.
But if we stopped curbside recycling and just collected it at the transfer station, is that a significant cost reduction?
Well, what we found out at Waste Management during our tour, because I asked that question, is like, they said, well, what about Rye? Because that's what Rye does.
Yeah.
Now, the scale of Rye is different than the scale of
Yeah.
Exeter. But people, they don't have curbside
Right.
trash pickup, they don't have curbside recycling. You go to their transfer station
Yeah.
and you drop that stuff off if you want to avail yourself of the town service. They have control of their recycling. It's required that you sort it very carefully. Recycling is always going to be more valuable the more it's sorted. And if you have control, you can do a better job of sorting.
I lived in Plymouth, just for example, and that's how they did it. It was up to the homeowners to do that. They had specific bids for that, and you were to transport it there or hire somebody that did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't done by the town.
It's more typical for towns to have a central location for recycling
Yeah.
than to do curbside recycling.
Yeah.
What we do is maybe the norm for towns and cities of our size, but it's definitely not the norm amongst municipalities.
The thing that I heard when we toured the waste management facility is that aluminum cans and cardboard have commodity value. And you wonder whether a pilot would be, let's get a bin just for aluminum or just for cardboard, not throwing it in the mixed recycling, and then having a completely separated stream of our own, like we're doing for styrofoam, and then tell Waste Management, we've got this, we want a better price because we've sorted it, or we're going to find a person to sell it to because it's
For instance, on cardboard, we currently have a separate cardboard dumpster. It is often full, and like I bring all the cardboard from my business out there on a weekly basis. I often am not able to put it in that dumpster,
Yeah.
and it has to go into the
Yeah, generally,
recycling
yeah,
dumpster
yeah.
because it has not been emptied.
Yeah.
So we're still farming it out to someone else. We're not taking control of it. I love the idea of zeroing in And obviously, people power, right?
Yeah.
There's not a lot we can ask DPW to do beyond
Right.
what they're already doing.
Right.
But I love the idea of picking some commodities
Yeah.
and trying to take a little more control of that. Again, as a small bore way to experiment with what would it be like if we were operating
Right.
a recycling operation on higher value, and in quotation marks, because none of this stuff has, great value.
Right.
But some of it has some value.
Right.
I love the idea of picking some of those. And trying to structure,
Yeah.
similar to the composting program, similar to the
I mean, this is
styrofoam program.
This is anecdotal, but when I walk my dog on a street, I bring a bag and I pick up all the aluminum cans.
Yeah,
And, if it was, 5 cents to return an aluminum can, somebody would be doing that. I'm doing it, I'm putting it in my own recycling because I'm saying I'm enriching the stream for somebody,
Yeah.
in a small way. But, plastic and glass, leave them for later, but aluminum is high value. And I wonder if there's somebody who would buy it from us if we had a big volume of it.
so these are, I love the idea of picking a few commodities and trying to organize ourselves to defray the cost
Yeah.
of our recycling program. Their response was, well, Rye's not making any money, they're still losing money. I said, yeah, but they're not paying you double to pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're
That was my
still
response.
winning.
And he
yeah.
was like, yeah, so if you're reducing the cost, forget about whether you're making money, it's about reduction of cost.
Yeah. It wasn't in their interest to
It's not.
answer.
That's
to encourage us.
the incentive's wrong. Exactly. Yeah.
I'm happy to go round.
Mm-hmm.
It was instructive. Anyway,
So in terms of the solid waste subcommittee, Chetna's not here, but do we have like some specific things that you think you can,
Well, I think tonight's discussion is great to help us come up with a redirect on coming up with
Yeah.
very short-term recommendations of what we know now.
Yeah.
But really refocus on the longer vision of what are we going to do.
there was a sheet they handed out to us on recycling, specifically where things go, like once they sort it out.
Yeah,
I'd love to get that to you.
I'd love to see that, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of it's factual and some of it's somewhat propaganda.
It may have gone through the marketing department, yeah.
Just might. But
Yeah, I'd love to see it, yeah.
It's what they're saying.
Sure, absolutely.
It's
yeah.
what our vendors say.
Yeah.
and Carol, if you're interested in joining that, assuming that's cool with
Yeah,
Shatna?
so that'd be for you to have that conversation and add her to it, that'd be great, yeah, it'd be lovely, yeah.
Would you be interested in focusing on the education component?
I'd like to see what you're currently working on.
Okay.
And then where I can lend my resource and experience on that, because I've dealt with solid waste with bigger companies.
Awesome.
So, just some thoughts.
Great.
Okay. Because what you said about that conversation on the community forum, like that's an immediate thing that I feel like we could do, is come up with some really simple facts to that
Absolutely.
obviously would need to be continued to publicize,
Yeah.
but it's because that's where people get aggravated and aren't interested in doing anything, because it's like, well, nobody recycles anything.
The two words that were chosen by Oxford Dictionary and Merriam-Webster
Oh,
as
no.
the words of the year were both AI related. One was slop, and the other was rage bait.
Rage bait.
All I can think of is
Yeah.
that's what you were experiencing on that community
Right.
forum.
Yep. I mean,
Slop and rage bait.
So the channel that the town content manager controls, your sustainability,
Yeah.
website and your Facebook and your social media, there's the Exeter Community Forum has 14,000
Angry
members.
people, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we have to think of the channel, so that there's your official channels, but then there's this unofficial channel going on all the time.
Which we have to be careful how we engage.
Well, that's
Well,
the
but I
question.
share stuff on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so as a citizen advisory committee, my question is, if we get some content that we all agree on, are we empowered to put it on a community forum and not the official town websites, or as a reply? What's the posture on, do we filter, I'm not going to get up at 2 a.m. and slam out an all caps post. I would probably ask for, here's an idea of a response. What does the committee think about it? What's our communication
I
posture on
think
that?
that would be part of the subcommittee's recommendations, because I think something to what you're saying is there may be responses a lot of people are asking. So why not just
Yeah.
have like frequently asked questions or concerns, one
Yeah.
thing, and respond to it so that you probably kill a,
Or point people to our webpage.
Exactly.
Yeah, education material
Yeah.
on the actual Sustainability Committee website, and then,
Yes.
hey, here's a link
Yeah.
to the official word from the town that you might
Yeah.
want to take some time to
With
review.
analytics that back it up.
Yeah, I think the challenge with the forum is it's a pretty lively space.
Yes, it
and
is.
there's a good bet that 50% of the people are not going to agree with anything that's posted there. So that's okay.
Right.
But I think we always want to look at the first thing with communications is what's your objective, right? What do we want to have happen? And then you design your communication to meet that. And I really like the idea of if we can work as a committee to advise our town partner to make sure that we're all agreed on what those facts are, and then work to just drive people to our town website with those facts, I think is probably the least sexy but noblest approach to getting the information out there. Because really,
Well, at least likely to generate blowback.
yeah, as well, yeah.
Facts are there, and it diffuses emotion.
Yeah. And if they're tied to opportunities, like not just, what's the benefit? What can you get out of it if you do this? If this is the fact and you can do this, then, if there's some action items tied to it that everybody can do, then it's great.
If you're interested in participating, feel free to look at the town calendar for where you can make your public comments in person.
Exactly.
Hiding behind a computer is always.
We're going to invite the Exeter Community Forum to our next meeting.
It's always great to
Standing room
start with,
only.
thank you. for
Oh my God, we
your
could do a live,
Exactly.
Yeah.
we could do a live, whatever they call them.
I don't think I'm going to be
people.
here that session.
Yeah.
I think I'm away.
All right, I'm aware of the fact that it is almost 8:15, so let's, styrofoam collection process and planning,
So we are still waiting for the utility to get the electric on site. So we're not able to, the bin was at the transfer station. It was used, but it shouldn't have been used. And
Oh,
so
no.
now there's a little bit, the bin is tempting people to put stuff in it. But we're not ready to promote or collect styrofoam. No.
I drove by the bin the other day, and I was like, I could probably get a few things from
Yeah,
this.
I know. I've heard from people.
Do I need to?
Steve has really pushed.
Shame Unitil again?
Oh.
At select board meeting like I did with the
Oh.
solar array?
That was
Yeah.
effective.
They were pissed at me.
No way.
They were very pissed at me. I said, this has gone on too long. This needs to, I need to pick up the pace. I don't know, let me think about that.
Yeah.
Is it just a electrical
consult
service
with the
drop
chair of the
that
select
needs to be?
Yeah, and then the town will do the rest of the connection.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The solar array was like unconscionable how long it took.
Tell me all about it.
You know a little bit about this, right? A little more than I do.
Yeah.
all right, so
That's
maybe
cool
more
though,
at
that
the
there's,
next.
We have the unit, we're
Yeah.
ready to go.
I love that you're going to be up the hill.
Yeah.
And not inside the
Yeah.
transfer station. I
Right.
think That's
Oh, that's
all
great.
some issues.
Yeah.
And,
And we did use what limited funds were remaining in the sustainability budget to purchase 3 of the super sacks. So
Oh, great.
we have some overflow sacks. We'll need more when we one day get to regional collection, but
So exciting.
Yeah.
One of the things I'm most
Goodness.
excited about is this, yeah. Yeah.
fantastic. All right, let me think about what I can do. Talk to the chair.
Just quickly back to subcommittee, I just thought, Ryan, I think you and I were the subcommittee for the police and fire station.
Yes.
I don't even know what the status of that is right
So
now.
I
The-
attend the weekly meetings for the police and fire substation. They have started site work out there. Yeah, I'm happy to report whatever.
Is there any, like,
Info.
what would our influence or
I think the goal was just to
advisory?
kind of make sure it was going to be a net zero facility, and we are
Okay.
heading that way. So
Okay.
they, yeah.
So maybe we can do an Exeter TV minute or report at some point
Yeah,
with an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not right
Early
now, but,
construction stages right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We were just having a conversation about this at facilities advisories.
oh,
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
okay.
Construction projects difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Slow moving? Come on.
No
that never
way.
happens.
South Waste Facility Tour Report. It was so cool, although I think we also need a visit to the recycling facility in
Yes.
As proof.
Massachusetts.
Yeah. On proof.
I agree.
Is that possible for us to do that? How would that happen?
I would imagine we'd need to reach out to them and just say, can we have a tour?
To waste management or
I guess that would be a good start.
is that something I could do?
I'm happy to do that, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you're welcome to.
Yeah.
Yes. But.
Well, if it would be,
Yeah.
if it would
Yeah.
take something off of your plate, I'm happy to
I can at least follow up with the folks.
Yeah.
And, because I did want to get electronically that paper
Yeah.
that they provided, so,
Yeah.
And obviously, you're going to coordinate with Steve Brown.
yeah,
Because I think that that would be fascinating to see
I agree.
that
Yeah.
part of it.
It does get shipped down to Mass.
It does.
And is there
To
a-
Bill Ricca, I think.
Bill Ricca, yeah.
The super facility.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be step 2,
Okay.
the tour.
I've been on a couple tours of recycling facilities, and it's absolutely unbelievable.
Well, they mentioned some of the components, the way they sort some things with magnets and air and
People,
people.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
by hand,
By hand, by hand
Yep.
sorting, yeah.
on a large conveyor belt.
I bet they'll be using those Boston Dynamic
Dynamics.
humanoids, if anybody saw
Yeah, eventually.
60 Minutes.
Within the next 3 years, right?
Was there an indication from the tour how, or is, to Chris's point earlier, is our recycling definitely going to recycling? Or is there any chance of it being contaminated into
So
waste or?
there's, the recycle truck pulls up to a big facility, they dump everything, and then there's a front-end loader putting it into other trucks to ship it to Bill Ricca. And there's easily more trash, more recycling there than it looks like is going to Bill Ricca every day. And you can see that it probably reaches a point where there's so much, they have no choice but to put it in the landfill. It's a subjective conclusion of most of us who saw it.
Yeah.
Is that the rate at which the recycling is coming in exceeds their ability to move it by truck
Really?
to Bill Ricca.
Interesting.
And there's an unanswered question is like, well, what do they do when they're too full to accept
And
trucks?
this is what you saw when you wandered down the wrong road, right?
Yeah, yeah.
At the end.
Yes.
It was not part of our tour.
Right.
I did not see this.
Right.
So we accidentally stumbled onto what you observed, and that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, and just, size-wise, it was shocking how small the building was
Right,
for the recycling.
right. There weren't enough trucks taking it away, there were more trucks bringing it. But the amount
But that's
It
okay,
was
because
a
the tour is only
giant-
supposed to be about 20 minutes, so you're not supposed to be able to do that
It's
math.
definitely a
They
dedicated
wandered down the
recycling.
wrong road.
It's not like a mixed
That
mixed
part of
trash
the
and
park.
recycling.
It's
look
a
over here.
dedicated recycling.
Behind the curtain.
Exactly.
And one of, one of the other questions is, so waste management, and this, I know, okay, there's deceptive practices, I'm not accusing them of anything, but what happens if there's a truck, picks up all the recycling in Exeter and it's not full? And the question is, do they stop in another town on the way to Rochester? And then it's on our tab because it's our truck?
That's a valid question.
Yeah.
But
Did you ask that question?
No.
I can understand
We were guests.
a little bit more about your frustration with added costs, et cetera, and the twice the cost of the recycling, et cetera,
Right.
seeing what
Yeah.
you might have seen and
Yeah.
that kind of thing,
Yeah,
for sure.
I don't mean to say
No.
this in a way that it's a conspiracy theory, but the question is, why is the cost twice? And-
Right.
And what are they doing with the volume that we saw?
And if it's
I've
ending
always,
up.
I've
in-
always been able to live with the idea that the cost would be twice. There's an energy density question here, there's all sorts of things, right? But only if I knew that it was going the right place, right? Okay, just the idea that it gets picked up in Exeter, is driven to Rochester, then takes another, trip down to
Yeah.
Massachusetts, already where, the transportation costs are
Yeah, right.
mounting. If I had some confidence that, some high percentage near the 90s, that stuff was going to the right place and at least getting sorted. Waste management doesn't control the world markets for plastics and stuff like that. Those things are unsellable and dead right now. I accept that, right? But it's that confidence that I'm getting whacked twice and I'm not getting the satisfaction that it's not going in the hole,
And the person, the representative from the company, when we sort of talked about it, we brought up, why are we doing single stream? And they said it's because towns wanted it. It's not, they don't necessarily want single stream. They would prefer separated out.
This stuff has value according to how much it's
Yeah,
organized.
and there was a,
Thing that your
Yeah.
link that you said, was very clear about that.
Yep.
Recycling has value if it's organized.
Right.
Yeah.
Organized is sorted,
yeah,
And they would prefer not to spend the money to sort it.
correct.
I
Absolutely.
would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
But they say they were quote unquote forced to, because all the towns they deal with
Well,
wanted it that
how
way
do you
for
do
convenience.
curbside without single stream?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. And that was the
Yeah.
service that we were all, that was the siren song that we all
Yep, yep.
bought into how many years ago?
Right,
But there's a lot of municipalities that don't do it that way.
right.
They don't do curbside recycling.
Right. It's a chicken egg kind of thing here, we trained everybody to single stream curbside, and now we have twice the cost, and how do we untrain people
Sure.
for single stream curbside?
Municipalities of a certain size.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
So many municipalities in New Hampshire are not doing curbside recycling.
And
Yeah.
you got people into the single stream to have any type of recycling at all.
Right.
Because without that, there are a lot of people that participation is based on ease. And if it was not easy, then it would not be done at all.
Right.
No,
So-
for sure, and I think that's actually the bigger, the elephant in the room here is that there's a broad stripe of society that up to a point will do it, but after that, if it's just not easy, won't do it.
Right.
We're two full generations in Western Europe. You spend any time in Germany or Holland or Belgium, and the end of every cul-de-sac is 5 major dumpsters, and you're putting your aluminum here, your steel there, color-coded,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's just what you do. But it took some training, and it is possible, and especially for towns that don't do curbside, that have it's just what you do. You go Saturday to the landfill or the transfer station, and you're putting it in the right place. There's going to be blowback from a certain amount of people on the front side because change is difficult, change is hard.
On the community forum.
Yeah, exactly. I know where we'll find it.
They'll be
But
slow.
to your point,
And
towns were doing it.
Yeah.
I lived in a town that did it.
Yeah.
So it's asking those towns, how did you do it? Was it a one day we're going to stop and this day we're going to start?
That's true.
Because when we moved there, it was already functioning, and that was
Yeah.
a number of years ago.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one of those things, but you're right, change is hard.
Yeah.
But it's inevitable.
Yeah.
So,
They probably never had single stream curbside recycling.
in Plymouth?
The pulling, it would be a pulling of the Band-Aid scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
I think sometimes.
Well, but if it
At
saves
some
people
point.
money, like
Yeah.
if it significantly reduces
I
the
think-
cost to the town of solid waste.
So it
Yeah.
comes, if you show those savings, people will line up for it.
You personally will save.
Yeah.
Then it's like, the cost-benefit analysis
People
has to
just
be
don't
done
know
per person.
the millions that we spend on garbage. They just don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it's an education.
Okay. We have meeting times and dates. So we did a poll, thank you, Kristen, but we didn't, I think the end result was
Inconclusive.
inconclusive, mostly. Well, because we
Sorry
didn't
to
have
interrupt.
everybody respond, or was Nina the only one who didn't?
Christina and Ryan. So we can get two of those answers now, right?
Okay,
So the poll was keep it the first Wednesday of the month or do the first Tuesday of the month. So far, of the 7 responders, 3 wanted to keep it on Wednesday, 1 wanted to move it to Tuesday, and 4 could have done, oh, that doesn't add up to 7. Must have been 8 responders. 4 would have done either.
So much flexibility.
I know.
well, but not, so you could not, or
I can, it's tough. I have another volunteer engagement on Wednesdays, so I have to,
is it a
Yeah.
timing thing with, if the
No, it's-
time is different?
no, well, I could do earlier in the day on Wednesday, but I work full-time hours, so.
Yeah,
But my work is flexible, but I don't think many other
okay.
members are the same boat, so. Another night would be better, but I can make it work. It was just, if there's an
Okay.
opportunity to move, that'd be easier for me,
All right.
especially.
So I think that means for now, we should just keep it Wednesday. Is that? Sorry, I don't know why I'm looking at you.
So it was 3 are good on Wednesday, or 2 are good on Wednesday, 4 are flexible, and 1's good on Tuesday?
Correct.
Yeah. Well, I think for now, we're going to keep it on Wednesday. And if we come back to that another time, we can.
Can I,
Go ahead.
we're happy to revisit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does not close the conversation.
Oh, yeah, I
Because
figured.
your participation is essential.
I know.
Thank you.
If, and
I'll ask in about
honestly,
6 months or something.
well, if you said, no, I absolutely can't meet on Wednesday, then we would try and figure something else out,
No,
so.
it's not absolutely can't, it would make life
Okay,
a lot easier
yeah.
if I didn't, but.
Well,
it's-
I
it's okay.
appreciate that you are able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
So that takes us to the end of our agenda, but I had one other thing. The deliberative session is before our next meeting, isn't it the end of January?
It's January
Yeah.
31st, Saturday.
Okay.
31st.
And that item about the street sweeper, I feel like we should make sure that we are involved in communicating that that has a sustainable component. So there's going to be, is it an article all by itself to like, that the town wants to,
I mean, anyone that can
Purchase.
attend the deliberative session
Right.
and speak to in
well,
favor.
I'm planning on going and I'd be happy to speak to it because it's a weird thing. It's a street sweeper, which seems like, oh, we don't need another truck. Like, but the connection between sweeping the streets and keeping our nutrient load into the bay is, I mean, that's a direct connection.
It's actually, having that upgraded street sweeper is part of our agreement that allows us to put our storm runoff in the river. So if we do not sweep our streets adequately
Yep.
for, then we will lose our ability to put our stormwater in.
Yeah.
So we need it.
And also, so we invested heavily to upgrade the wastewater treatment plant and brought it to this level.
Yep.
The EPA wanted, or the state and the EPA wanted us to bring it to this level. This was a negotiation level, contingent on us reducing nitrogen inputs from non-point source pollutions like stormwater.
Okay.
And so if we don't do that, we might be forced to further upgrade the wastewater treatment plant, which we don't want to do.
Yeah, it's short money to
Okay.
improve the streets.
So
Save
I
yourself.
will, I'm planning on going to the deliberative session, and I will talk to you or get some language from you, and then I will share it with the entire committee, and you can tell all your friends and neighbors to make sure when it comes time for the town election to vote for that, and it's not just another truck. So that could be the slogan.
That's it, not just
Not
another
just
truck.
another
There you go.
truck.
Just another
It's the
piece of
slogan.
Yeah.
Not just the town picking your pocket for another truck. Not that trucks aren't very important. All right, I think that's the end of our agenda. If anyone has any other additions or, all right, thank you. And I guess I need a motion to
I move you adjourn.
I second.
adjourn. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, the ayes have it. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you for tuning in to Exeter TV. Exeter TV is the town's public and government access channels, available on Comcast channels 6 and 22. Channel 6 is your channel. If you have an idea for a program, want to host your own talk show, or submit a film, we're here to get your content on television. On Channel 22, we bring you live and replay coverage of government meetings and other town updates. A third channel, Blue Hawk Media, is operated by SAU 16 and can be found on Channel 8, with all your school sports, events, and meetings. You can watch Exeter TV online at exeternh.tv, Apple TV, and on Roku. Find us on social media for extra content. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell to get notified about live streams and new content. Tune in to our platforms every other Friday to watch the Exeter Biweekly Report, with recaps of recent events, updates from town departments, and messages from nonprofits in your area. If you head to our website, exeternh.tv, we invite you to sign up to our newsletter to receive monthly updates about new content, upcoming meetings, and more. We'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch Exeter TV and hope that you tune in to our other content as well.